Okay. Whoa. Would you look at that? The day magically changed. Okay. I know I'm lazy, don't judge me. I don't like to be judged. Anyway, so I'm going to delve deeper into Niwa's character, which was like question 17 or something, and I felt like I wanted to talk about it more. So, we're only gonna have like an annotation here, I don't know, or something, to link to the video talking more about Niwa, because I'm not going to explain myself again, because I like to talk and I want to take my whole damn 10 minutes to explain Niwa, and I'm not going to repeat the stuff I already said. I mean, I probably will, but I'm just saying that because I'm trying to sound responsible. Okay, let's jump right into it. So Niwa, like I was saying before in the other video, I was really fed up with all these tsunderes running around, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to make someone who's like an anti-tsundere, that like you couldn't budge, you can't really embarrass him. He has nearly no weakness, and in fact, when I first made Niwa, that was my main problem. Like, Masashi Kishimoto, who's the author of Naruto, since I was just starting out my manga, I was like, let me read what he says about what he does with his manga. And he says what he does when he's making a character is he makes a weak point and then he builds the character around it. And I'm like, I obviously didn't do that, because at the time my first character, who was Niwa, had no weaknesses. Like, he was impenetrable, and that's no good because humans aren't perfect. And so after a while, I kind of like, I made him flawed. Like, his biggest problem is his impulsiveness. As if you've read my manga, you can see that's one of his large problems, and his anger, which overcomes him way too easily. So those are his main blaring flaws, but other than that, it's pretty bad. But let's see, what else did I want to say other than Niwa. The weird thing about Niwa is like my favorite character and my least favorite character, because like he's my favorite because he's kind of like my baby, because I've done so much characterization for him, and like honestly, when I first made him, his whole basis was someone whose personality couldn't be cracked by just a random girl who came along. And he doesn't believe in love, and for a girl to just randomly come out of nowhere and say, you're wrong, you should believe in love, the smart, logical thing would be not to listen to her, because that doesn't make sense to me. But in what seems to be every single manga, they actually would listen, and I'm like, that doesn't make sense to me. So it's going to be that Suki's going to be this driving force, like, believe in love, and he's going to be like, no, I have no reason to listen to you, I don't believe in love, that's, no. And he's like, I made him a bad person, and obviously, actually when I first made him, he wasn't a rapist. He was only, I decided he'd be a rapist after, because when I was making Kako Kara Mirai, I was kind of just going with the flow and just kind of making pages, and I hadn't really planned out the whole story, and then I was drawing it out. I was planning it as I went. So I think, I don't remember what page it is, but after he knocks her down and is threatening her and stuff, and kissing her and making her flustered because he wants to know whether she actually was on his computer, I think it's at that point that I decided he would be a rapist. Like, in the middle of that part where it seems like it'd be established already, but it wasn't. That's when I decided that's what he does. And then the thing I wanted to do with Kako Kara Mirai, especially centering Niwa, is make it so that there's like a huge gray area, because things aren't always so black and white like they seem lately in a lot of manga. Like, Niwa's a really awful guy with a pretty bad attitude. He rapes women. Well, he rapes mostly girls, mostly his age. Like, someone asked me, someone's like, would Niwa rape a 6-year-old? And I'm like, no, he wouldn't. He would see no point in that. But, what was I saying before? I went off on a tangent. Yeah, there's a gray area. And what I wanted to do is really kind of make the readers think, because with Niwa's background, like, if you hear it, especially from his point of view, what he's saying makes sense. And I wanted to, like, make a background where it's like, you wouldn't read it and then you're like, oh, come on, you're just being stupid, get over it, kind of. Like, you know how with Sasuke, there's sort of a way where you can be like, Sasuke, get over it. Naruto kind of went through the same thing, and he's not a grumpy emo pants. Well, I wanted it to be so that there's not that much room. I mean, there's room for discussion, but in the situation, Niwa seems pretty right. But it's hard because you can't say, oh, well, from what happened to him, he's right to not believe in love, because obviously that isn't right. So it's like, I wanted to, like, make like a backstory to him where you'd say, oh, well, I understand him now, and I see why he would think it's okay to rape people, and why it's okay to not believe in love, and to think that all love is lust, and, like, you would understand him, and it would make sense to agree with him, but you can't, because what he believes in it's not correct, you know, but his reasoning totally makes sense. And that's what I wanted to do with him, because I wanted it to seem that, like, that's what I wanted it to do, for it to make sense why he wouldn't want to, but not make sense in a way where it's like, well, just suck it up, you know, but more like, it's like he's in the right, but he's wrong, you know? So it's just this gray area that I wanted to create so that people would just, I don't know. Though the problem is, I think my background, if it's spoken from Niwa's point of view, like I did on Formspring, it might get people, it gives people the wrong idea about other characters, like Tatsuki. I mean, Tatsuki, it's very easy to hate Tatsuki, because Tatsuki's what's made Niwa the way he is now. But much to a lot of people's surprise, Tatsuki actually did really love Niwa, and she thought that, with what she said, she thought it was just best for the relationship. She wasn't just being selfish or, like, lusty, or just, that's not really what she thought. And Sora, I'm really worried about Niwa's background making people hate Sora, because Sora's actually really, really nice and awesome. I'm like, someone asked me, someone's like, because I did a sort of interviewee thing with Sora, and one of my friends asked, do you love your brother? And Sora was like, of course, oh my gosh, because Sora basically raised Niwa by himself, and, like, he's not proud of the way Niwa's growing from 12 to 17 right now. In fact, he's really upset and ashamed of what he's doing and the kind of person he is. But, like, he loves Niwa with all his heart, and honestly, if something were to happen to him, he'd be devastated, or, like, he would protect him with his life. Sora doesn't in any way hate Niwa. Just, if Niwa's going to rape a girl, you're gonna have to, like, push your brother off of her. It's not, you can't really side with your brother there. And Sora's, like, really, he's nearly perfect. His only flaw is that he's married, and he loves his wife, like, too much. Just, if you were, honestly, you can make him do anything if you took Akechi hostage. Like, you... Anyway, I see I'm running out of time, so I'm going to stop here. I don't know if I'm going to talk more about it, but I'm going to just upload this right now. So...